listen to jazz ballads. Make everything happen like it wasn't with any malice. Because that way, you end up living in a palace. That's just a nice song. I like that song. That's a nice song.
Okay, I'm done. Welcome to the Sanity Trance again, times 20 or whatever it is now. Today, as promised, I'm going to wig out on Symmetry because it's probably one of the most important things about music and communicating and all these other things, but like, I actually like found it at the end of the whole journey about it. It's for me, like, and I don't, of course it's funny to say the end, you know, we're all still in it, but like, I felt personally, I came from like just loving music so much, like ever since I was little, to just playing whatever was around and just writing stuff all the time and just whatever, you know, exploring, not really knowing what I'm doing. I got lessons for a couple years when I was like 8 or something on piano, but it was like all classical style. And then I did percussion and drumline stuff from junior high through high school. And, you know, but in the meantime, I had bought a guitar and a bass and I had gotten a drum set right when I was 12, and it was just a whole lot of exploration without anyone really knowing deep what they were doing. You know, I just kind of grew up in Odessa about it, and I didn't really like actively go looking for lessons as much as I just saw the thing and just went right to it and started playing or whatever, you know. But like, what that did for me was it let me really be more of a composer. And I mean, I would play gigs and stuff with bands and all that and do covers and all, but like mostly I was just messing around, always trying to be creative, and you know, without any actual coaching in that field or not knowing any producers or studio drummers or anything like that I could just go reach out to, you know. It was hard to find the exact sentences that I needed compared to what the exact sentences are today that I have now that have solved a lot of my musical issues and my communication issues even. Like this caveman kind of path about it. I found lessons, and I found what I needed, found the people I needed, probably when I was like in my 20s, and now that it's been a few years since then, I've been just, I feel like even like within the past month, I've just been able to finally tie everything together in a concise way that's not only applicable to music, but to communication in general and the fluidity of momentum. However you can see it, and how that the funniest part to me was like I learned all these instruments, and then I got into songwriting, getting out of high school and going into college and stuff, and started recording myself and getting into all that. And yeah, I just felt like I was really good with subconscious ideas, you know, without much trimming about it. I was just like letting whatever go. And so it's a hyper creative decade in my life about all that. And now that like things are cleaning up more, I happened to find the final piece of how to make all my run-on sentences make sense in a way. You know, that was my biggest thing, was like the discipline factor. Like I would always have all the chops in the world at the whole time just going off like it was like the whole thing was a drum solo or something. And you know, and I didn't know better, so it was really hard to say I even knew I was messing with people like that or whatever. You know, it's really hard to pay attention to these things because it's not obvious, even though it's pretty obvious once you notice it. You know, but some people never notice it. You know, go decades and decades without considering the entire the reality of what you're doing. You know, and how it echoes through a room and all those crazy things. All those elements contribute to communication in general. And how we make sense of stuff based on familiarity, all this stuff, our ability to even notice symmetrical ideas, that's kind of ingrained in us from birth. You know, you can even see how even infants' pupils will dilate on certain experiments based on symmetrical shapes and things like that. But for me, the final piece to a musical instrumental journey without much going on in the language department, you know, like just to separate field from field. I got this last bit on Symmetry from a songwriting book. Like this guide, what is it? Here it is. So it's Songwriting, Essential Guide to Lyric Form and Structure by Pat Pattison. It's a killer book, but I'm laughing because it's almost exclusively talking about words, you know, how to write better lyrics and that whole stuff. And what it really showed me was like using words only, no chords, no scales. It's like we're going to imply rhythms, we're going to imply repetition of certain ideas to create themes, and then we'll be able to come back to these themes, which in a way it will create symmetry or it will create anything else, which is anti-symmetry. And how that translates is you're creating resolution or tension, anti-resolution, right? So those, every little bit, there's nothing wrong with any of this. It's just a matter of like what this is going to do to the listener on a psychiatric level or psychological level, whatever. So I've been learning jazz standards for years, maybe like 6-7 years now. And, you know, I feel like that's really when I started taking music serious. This one, like, maybe like early 20s, like really deciding I wanted to care about it. Like take it for real. But this idea would probably have been better to be introduced sooner than later in life, because then that way my drum solos don't sound like a bunch of run-on sentences with a bunch of fireworks, and I can't remember anything about what I heard an hour later, you know? And that's the problem. It's like, it's not that it's not amazing and it doesn't have a place, but if there's no real arrangement to the way you speak, then you've created a whole different kind of trance, and people end up getting into more of like a narcissistic line of thinking, you know, give or take. Yeah. The thing is, it stops being about the music. How's that, to keep it simple? So, you know, that that idea, you know, all you have to do is take something and do it again, you know. So it comes down to being, how good is your memory? How quick is your short-term memory? How solid can you work that muscle, you know? And with me, I realized I have ideas for days, you know, but like that's the problem. It's just not digestible. And if you want to make what your epic idea, if you want it to make sense, all you have to do is repeat it, you know. And it can be the craziest thing ever and put on a loop, and then you're in business all of a sudden, you know. It's just like the amount of samples and the way things go. Like, you could just think about something completely out of control rhythmically, and if you can do it again, you know, it kind of sticks a little bit. I don't think what I did just then was exactly what I did, but I did hear this parent rhythm. And then I just did that again, essentially. But I also filled in the gaps. And then just did it again. And now, thinking of it like that, all of a sudden, I can remember it. Which completely illustrates what I'm talking about. It's like I can't even remember what I did if I pay attention to 30-second notes. You know, but if I hear that... You know, even that one wasn't the same because I was also tuning into the speed of it, you know. But again, how much more memorable is this? You know, it's just... I wish there was an easier way to say it for how quick you can still say it. But to directly feel the difference like that, it is such a difference on a level of like an audio massage. You know, if you're just thinking about how this is tasting in the moment, just like the way a chef might have a layers of different flavors in a certain dish, you know, and this goes the same way, but it's like how Symmetry plays a role here is just with your memory and your ability to make sense of what's going on. And because you can take the craziest things and just as long as you repeat them and put a form to them, I mean, repeating it is what gives it symmetry in the first place. You know, even if you only do it twice, you've already made something symmetrical across an even number. And if you can double those 2 measures, and then if you can double those 4 measures, you can double those 8 measures, I mean, that's a whole lot of thinking you don't have to do anymore, and you have more time to give yourself a focus on being able to actually make decisions in real time. That's the goal anyway. But that's you know, if you think about it that small, that'll get you there more than trying to think about it like someday I'll be good and this is how this, and you guys are going to watch my passionate struggle or whatever. You know, it's the same song, but one of them is going to weigh a whole lot less on your mind and it'll let you really shine. Like, it feels like you have wings compared to not having wings. Because just the amount of thinking you don't have to do anymore about every single thing you're doing. Instead of looking at every single neuron, you get to just kind of zoom in on the actual song. So, you know, if you contrast your sections, you have an A section, a B section. They could be completely different grooves, but then repeat that. Then you got A, B, A, B. Then A, B, A, B, C. And then maybe split the C in half to where it goes A, B, A, B, C, B, A, B, A. I mean, have a blast with it. Mess it up, break it, fix it. Leave us hanging or resolve it. Who cares? Just, this is the beginning of how you get to a great solo. And pay attention to it. Like, see how much you can notice symmetry, because in general, that's kind of how we subconsciously see whatever we consider beautiful to be. Like, this will go to, it translates through all sorts of different dimensions of sensory experience. So anyway, yeah, I hope that helps. You know, this is a bit of information I would have killed for a good 20 years ago. But good luck to you, man. This is gonna be, I'm excited to see all the things, man. There's always something to live for. You just never know. All right, peace, y'all.